Hey there, Internet. Welcome to the Hard On Gear channel, where I discuss and review my used and abused knives and gear. I've got a super awesome treat today for the Hard On Gear channel, because what we have here is what, I mean, get more hard on gear than a freaking knife like this. This is a giant pry bar with saw teeth on the back, a tanto tip, and a big old edge on the bottom, which is very capable of slicing and cutting, because it does get decently thin behind there as you see a long gradual decline down to that full flat grind on this big wide ass Halfbreed Blades knife. This knife in particular, I'll put the model name and all that stuff up in the numbers. It's a I can't remember, it's an L something something. I handled a different Halfbreed blade as well. I'll put the picture of that one up here as well. That was the CQC or some kind of a close quarters model, but that little thing with a little bit of a ring there was lent to me by the same guy who lent me this knife. Appreciate that. This knife, actually, as another buddy of mine pointed out, is basically a representation of the gentleman who gave me this knife to use for this video, and he's a monster of a man, and this is a monster of a knife. So yeah, cheers, buddy. Appreciate that. Maybe at some point I'll get to grab that small knife that he's got to take a look at, but that CQC things or whatever the hell it is, again, that picture there to show you what exactly I'm talking about. That little thing's pretty sweet. Also extremely durable, very thick, very sturdy. This here is just like the supercharged monster field version of it. Incredibly durable D2 tool steel, which is a pretty damn good choice to make this a relatively affordable knife. Incredibly good craftsmanship, and this thing looks just, I mean, there's a little bit of imperfections here and there, I think, from where that coming in and out of the sheath, but overall, maybe a little bit where that Teflon coating bubbled or didn't quite hit cleanly, but overall, beautifully executed. And for the price of, I believe it's up for $375 American. Decent price because of the D2 steel. If this was some kind of crazy expensive steel, this knife would be out of this world, because D2 is a little more affordable, but still hella durable. So long as it's got something like this supposedly incredibly good Teflon coating on the outside, should be good to go. Super, super well done. G10 handles on the outside. Very good for multiple positions, whether you're super choked up, and I guess this is kind of the way it was designed. I remember reading this somewhere in the specs of this knife, that it is meant to be like an all-around field purpose knife for, yeah, I mean, you could take down a bear with this thing. You could take down a tank with this thing. You know, in John Wick, when they say, like, you know, Baba Yaga, you know, John Wick's the guy who goes and kills Baba Yaga. Yeah, this thing is not a tank of a knife. This is the knife you use to kill a tank. I mean, good God, anything larger than that, you're gonna need two hands, because this is 16.75 ounces, just the knife alone. The sheath here is a total of, I think, about 6 ounces or so. The total weight is around 22, 23 ounces for the whole carry. It's definitely noticeable. I'll plug a picture up here of the carry and the draw from my dominant left-hand position, reverse grip, 9 o'clock. It's webbed through my belt here through the MOLLE attachments that you see here. Now these are meant to go through MOLLE webbing, and we weave through, so this could go on your kit anywhere if you're military, police, or anything of the sort. Now weight wise, I don't know how much room you have on your kit or how far you're going to be going, but this thing is, again, 22 ounces overall. You're definitely not going to want to have this on your body if you're doing long recce patrols or anything crazy. So yeah, this could get in the way, and it might be too large for a lot of things. And this is really meant to be a field knife. So yeah, much more of a survival slash military, like long-term, like if you were going to be out in the bush in some pretty extreme circumstances, maybe this is a good option. Those teeth on the back are specifically designed to saw through pretty much any kind of woody material, or probably anything else. So I'm a forestry tech by trade. While I'm not an expert logger or chainsaw person, I mean, I've definitely sawed through a decent amount of stuff with hand tools and with chainsaws and stuff, and like just the idea of how teeth work and looking at this relative to like the idea of a chainsaw, it's different, but the principle is more or less the same. And this looks terrifying. I would love to get some field use with this and try this out on some different stuff. Yeah, so Halfbreed Blades, my goodness, you've absolutely got my attention. Let me know, Hard On Gear folks, what do you think of these Halfbreed Blades? Are you familiar with these? Have you seen or heard of these before? Oh, and heck, while you're doing that, give the video a like, and if you want to, subscribe to get all of the content from the Hawk channel to your notifications. If you want to turn the notification bell on, you'll get every single one of them. 2 uploads a week, typically Monday with the weekly upload, and my Knife of the Week video, which comes out pretty much every weekend. This is, again, as hard on gear as I could ever imagine a fixed blade being. Looking at the sheath. So you got just about every option you could ever want for attaching this to any kind of belt or pack or kit. I mean, you can do samurai carry with this. It might be a little bit awkward and that thing might get a little bit cumbersome in your pants, but you could do just about any fixed blade carry with this knife. Neck knifing as well might be a little bit cumbersome, but hey, remove the scales and you can talk about it. The retention on the sheath is super, super, super good. Oh yeah, feel that freaking click. That took a decent amount of effort. Now it's easy enough to get in there. I was trying to do that very gingerly just so you could see how well that snaps into place. This thing is not going anywhere. And I mean, this is a friend of mine's knife. I don't want to risk like throwing it on the floor, but I trust this sheath quite a bit. And I'm trying not to put like pressure on the sides. Like that's a sturdy sheath. And then listen to this. Oh yeah, that's a solid, well-designed sheath that I would absolutely trust. Even a heavy-ass knife like this in a downwards handle down carry. Because you might actually want something like that for ease of space, and just because like if you've got this anywhere is kind of above your waist to draw this, like I show that video again here where I'm drawing that reverse grip, that's about as big of a knife as you're going to be able to carry on your hip handle up without it being really annoying to draw. Or you'd have to have it on some kind of an angle, like a sword traditionally would be carried, or at least be able to be tilted to so that you could draw it out. Yeah, if you're going to carry this anywhere above your waist, probably upside down so you can draw the handle, and so long as you can draw that to save space where you're not going to, you know, accidentally impale yourself, probably good to go. Let's do some size comparisons. Let's see this guy next to a couple of traditional big bad fixed blades, like the USMC from K-Bar. Oh, and that reminds me, actually, I didn't say the length of this thing. The overall specs, man, I'm blanking on a lot of this stuff, but you're pretty similar here to the K-Bar USMC. So just about a 7-inch blade, I think just a little shy of 7 inches. What, about 5 inches of handle then for an overall 12-inch-ish blade length, or a knife length overall. If I'm totally off on that, super particular like knife specky people, yeah, feel free to drop your hate down in the comments below. But this isn't an official review or anything like that. This is just me rambling about super cool knives. So let's just get back to looking at some other super cool knives, like the SRK by Cold Steel. A little smaller, but yeah. Cool, and why don't we take out, let's say something a little bit bigger and badder, my K-Bar large heavy Bowie, and just put that right here instead of the, I don't know what the hell I was doing mixing those knives around, taking the knife I was doing comparisons to out of the equation. But wow, okay, so the K-Bar large heavy Bowie's got a little bit more on this guy, but I really feel like this is going to be able to chop as good or better. Probably, yeah, it's even heavier than this big old large heavy Bowie. While this is going to have a little bit of mechanical leverage advantage on this littler, no, not so little, 12-inch guy or 11-inch guy, it's the weight of that knife is going to carry it through all kinds of material. The edge geometry, I feel I just touched this knife up a little bit and it's still pretty damn stable. Not super slicey, but it's gonna pop a few hairs off. It's still so damn thick behind the edge. I don't really think there's gonna be any issue. This is like a straight 20-degree angle on the sharpening. So definitely your typical like thick bushcraft knife where you can get away with chopping. And I don't know about batoning too easily. Maybe a little bit up here if you were careful, maybe a little bit here, or I suppose you could put like maybe some kind of a cloth or material, something on top of these teeth, maybe something like that, so you're not like damaging the edges of these. But still, I'd be very careful about maybe batoning with this, and again, maybe just down here or up here with a little bit of protection around those teeth so you don't ruin those. Because these, as sharp as these are right now, oh, I wouldn't want to ruin that. That'd be very hard to get these back to this level of sharpness without sending this back to the manufacturer. If he does that, actually, I don't really know. But like a lot of large companies will take their knives back. Let's see the Garberg. Mora Garberg. One of my absolute favorite field knives. Oh, hello spring of my camera stand. How about the Bradford Guardian 3? Which doesn't get a lot of camera time because I'm not as big of a fan of it as many are, but there it is nonetheless. One day I'll get a little Kydex sheath for it and maybe I'll carry it a little bit more. And just because we kind of have to, because why else did I get the Rat knives other than to have them for size comparisons? So Rat Model 1, Rat Model 2, there you go. Really no logical purpose to do a size comparison between these knives and this giant Halfbreed fixed blade, although it's more of a pry bar than a fixed blade knife. Just happens to have one sharpened edge on it. Let's talk about that reverse tanto for a second too, because that's just about as stabby as you could possibly make this edge for how thick of a knife that is, because that is going to soar right through whatever the heck it's going through with the weight of this knife. Now, any of you knife experts want to inform me what these lovely grooves are along the side of these knives? Because I've been wrong before, but got a pretty darn good idea. But yeah, feel free to comment down below as to what you think those grooves are for. Again, any other overall comments or thoughts about this knife, feel free to let me know what you're thinking about it. But I really think there's going to be something, maybe not quite this large, but definitely something Halfbreed blades in my life sometime soon. I've got a few other fixed blades definitely on my list. Maybe I'll put together my 2023 fixed blade wish list. There's a few folders I plan on getting, but most of the knives on my list right now are most definitely fixed blades. So keep an eye out for that stuff and all the other fun stuff coming up in 2023. 2022 was a bit of a slow year for the Hog channel as I was going through my basic military training, and things are changing this year. Things are getting a little bit picked up as far as my levels of freedom and mobility and ability to record and plan content. So yeah, things will only get better, and I will explain all kinds of the updates, personal and channel, that are coming your way sometime in the very near future. So keep an eye out for that. And again, hit a like on this video if you haven't already and you do like this video. If you really don't like it, you can hit the thumbs down button, but why don't you comment down below what you didn't like as well, so I have a little better idea on what to improve on. And I guess, yeah, feel free to check out all the different knife videos for every knife that you've seen on the table, other than, well, this one here, because you're watching the video for this guy right now, obviously. But all kinds of different videos all over this channel. Check out the playlist if you want any particular type of knife video. And yeah, we'll see you on that one or the next week's Monday upload or my Knife of the Week videos pretty much every week. Until then, Hard on Gear channel, signing off.